Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? Pedantic Book Club. Normally, we're a podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before. But once a quarter, we stop and discuss a book with our book club members on Patreon that has either been adapted into a series or film or a retelling.
This quarter, our book club pick came to you courtesy of me, and it was Lucy Undying by Kiersten White. It is a Brides of Dracula retelling with a special focus on Lucy Westenra, and was first published almost exactly a year ago to the day this episode is going out, because it was published September 10th of 2024.
Just kind of awesome.
Yeah, right? Great timing. And we both read this tandem with the physical copy as well as the audiobook, which is primarily narrated by Billie Fulford-Brown and Jeremy Carlisle Parker, with many other additional voices in for other characters. So before we get into our talking, and I think we're both going to have a lot of fun thoughts about this one, let's go over a synopsis for Lucy Undying. In 1800s London, Lucy Westenra wants one thing: freedom. Freedom to be who she is and run off with her love. But when the men around her seek to drain her of what makes her worthy, she stumbles upon a deadly solution. When her beloved Mina has caught the attention of a vampire, she dies in her place to protect her. Little did she know that Mina did not need saving after all.
As the decades go by, Lucy spends her afterlife looking for Dracula so that she can make him pay for what he's done to her and countless others. She thinks this is her purpose, still protecting Mina after all these years. That is until she meets someone who can finally question her core beliefs and makes her see the world and herself in a whole new way.
In 2024, Iris Goldeming is in London to settle her family's estates and sell what artifacts they have so that she can escape the literal cult she came from. But when she meets Elle, everything changes. She thought she wanted to run. That was until she found someone worth staying for. As they get closer, Iris realizes that Elle is the Lucy from the journals she found in her attic. And together, they seek to take down the structures that built them, destroying Mina, the blood, and the legacy. So I have a question for you before we get started, because I think this changes, and since you listened to the audiobook, how soon did you figure out that Elle was Lucy?
Immediately.
Okay.
I knew that immediately. That was such a quick thing to pick up on for me.
Yeah. A, it's obvious, but B, also, I think Jeremy just does a really good impression of Billie, which I think doesn't hurt.
It really doesn't. But no, I picked up on that really quickly. And then I just, for the whole time, I'm just kind of sitting there how long is it going to take for her to figure it out?
Half the book.
That, obviously, I got that answer. And the whole time, I'm just like, it's her. Talk to her. Give her the fucking diary. And, I didn't yell at this book too much.
No, that's fair. I mean, too much is good. You have, as we established, you have significantly more notes than I do, only because for time constraints and because I did not plan properly, I ended up reading 60% of this book yesterday, mostly only on audio. Therefore, I couldn't take a lot of notes for about 200 pages.
I got lines. We're good.
I also got lines, and we have similar lines.
I had already started the book and then randomly lost internet again because, as most of our followers know, after last year, our internet has been in and out constantly since the hurricane last year. It ended up being another issue with the poll for the 15th fucking time. So I had 2 days of no internet. So what better to do? Because Notion works offline. What better to do than to sit here and read? And I did. I spent hours. And of course, I'm not reading. I don't read slow. I do not tandem read in the sense of we're going to listen to this at 1.5 and really taking it. No, we're at 2.4. I can't go ahead of the audiobook.
When we tandem read, because they use the term immersive reading when they listen to the audiobook and read with their eyes at the same time. The actual ideology behind, immersive reading and what we call tandem reading are two very different things. Because tandem reading is just reading however you would read it, as fast as you want to listen to it, getting the story in however you best want to consume it. Immersive reading is more let's be enveloped in the story and really focus deeply on this and listen to every word. And as an audiobook narrator, I can say this: speed up your fucking audiobooks if you want to. Truthfully, I don't care.
I start my audiobooks at 1.5. And the few times that it starts before I turn up the speed, I literally sit and be like, how are people talking this slow? How? You could answer that. How do y'all talk so slow? It's literally mind-numbing for me. I have to turn up the speed.
I can't, honestly. And part of me is convinced that some people, the speed gets turned down from how they record it.
It's gotta be. It's so
because
slow.
you can do that. I recently learned how to speed up the playback in Reaper so I can proof things faster. You can turn down the playback a little bit and it will maintain the pitch so it sounds normal. because that's how I do that with speeding it up. Otherwise, I would sound like a chipmunk. So it can be done. Part of me is really convinced that like they narrate it at a regular speed, but then in production it gets slowed down.
No. I seriously, I think I listened to most of the book between 2.2 and 2.5 speed while
I was at
reading
2.2 the whole time.
and taking notes. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's actual annotations in here. It's not like I
Oh, same.
just,
Yeah.
not that I know where any of them are, because like a lot of them are just highlights of like amazing lines, and then I have oh shit moments, like near the end with the fucking doctor. I was very surprised
Mm-hmm.
by that. That came out of nowhere. Like there were little
That one
tidbits.
surprised me the first time because
That one surprised me.
I read this one for the first time last year, not long after it came out. So like I had a good year in between, but like I remember I was on a walk when I was listening to the end of this book when the doctor shows up and I was like, "Oh, I did not see that coming."
Yeah, it was a really good twist.
Yeah.
But I went ham on the amount of lines that I wrote down. It's kind of insane, but there were just so many parts of this. The author does a really good job of making things relatable between
Mhm.
time periods.
Yeah, the multiple timelines are fantastic.
They're what's the word? Ingrained together so well. Obviously, that helps with it
Enmeshed,
being a
intertwined.
diary. Enmeshed, entwined. Thank you. I
Yes.
couldn't think of the
Well,
word.
I think the different formats works really well because when you're getting the different timelines, you're getting Iris, you're getting the present day, which
Mhm.
is your regular, she's talking. You have Lucy's diary, which is specifically telling you her life before she becomes a vampire. And then you have the client transcript of her with her therapist, of her filling in that gap in between of after vampire to
Yes.
modern day. I
Well,
think
it's
that's a great
also
way to bring that all together.
Well, it's another homage almost to the original as well, because the entirety of the original Dracula novel is transcripts and Jonathan his name,
Harker.
his journal. Thank you. Fuck, I
Hmm.
can't talk apparently either. We do this for a living, and yet we still can't fucking talk.
We don't normally record at noon,
We don't. Usually that's our coffee chats, and that's,
so it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. This one matters. But no, like
This one
it's
we do
kind
have to
of
be eloquent.
it is, and it's an homage to the original Dracula because that's also told in that way, where you've got the
Hmm.
journal and the actual like shit that's going on and transcripts and all kinds of crazy stuff within that as well. So I kind of like that she took it that way. I was like, no, we're
Hmm.
still going to do this, just even better.
Yeah. Well, one of the patrons did ask. I don't know if you've read any of the vampire,
I
like
have
the interview
not
with the
looked at
vampire books.
anything yet.
I haven't either. And like the question was just like they got similar vibes from that. I was like, other than like the transcript element of it, where you are getting her story told that way, I don't know how else. 'Cause I have seen like the interview with the vampire movie, but I don't remember a whole lot. So like
So I remember reading and watching Dracula, obviously in high school, because I was
mhm,
in British literature my senior year. So
yeah.
everything was that, which was great for me because I got to read, like, I didn't actually have to reread Pride and Prejudice for the fifth time. I just did it for fun. Um, did I ever tell you about that? How the teacher was
You
like,
did tell me about that.
yeah, they had us doing, he was like wanting everybody to do like a short essay on like whatever chapters out of the book, looks at me and goes, just do the whole book.
Hmm.
Just,
Yeah.
you get to do the whole book. And I was like, sweet, thank you. And look where we are today.
Hmm.
But I mean, and there was obviously, I mean, I enjoyed the going back and seeing the brides and all the actual storyline that was in Dracula. I'm just also
Yeah.
sitting here reading it, trying to remember everything from Dracula.
I'd never read the original Dracula. The only concept,
Really?
yeah, the only retelling that I've watched, and I still haven't even finished it in recent memory is the 2013 2014 NBC series.
Oh wow! I remember watching the movie with Winona Ryder.
Well, because it's like Dracula and vampires, it's one of those stories that it's so ingrained in our society, and like there are
Yeah,
adaptations and there's different versions of it. My growing up with Dracula at all, this is has nothing to do with anything. It was just my dad being funny. Is he created this series of bedtime stories about Dracula and
aw,
Igor, and he did funny voices, and it was about weird people coming to his house.
that's actually really adorable.
And that was like that was my that was me and vampires was like because I think that was his attempt at like making because I wasn't very scared of things as a kid, but then we
Me
watched
either.
but then we watched the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and I was terrified after that. So I think that was him trying to find the humor in something that can be scary.
That's a really smart way of doing that, though.
Yeah, and it worked out. It's like those stories. Like I still remember like a lot of them, even though he doesn't, but I do because like he would just find funny things from other stuff and just bring it in. And I now, as an adult, realize what he was referencing, not so much back then.
I obviously I remember Dracula. I've read a couple of vampire novels since. Like A Dowry in Blood is fucking phenomenal. I
Mm-hmm.
love that book. That's another
It's
good
a
one
beautiful
to
book.
read. It's so fucking good. This is definitely up there with that. Like I
This
would
is
put
my
Lucy on.
favorite.
Like I have to agree. I think I like this better than A Dowry. But this one, just the humor, I think is, you know me. I love
Uh-huh.
humor. I like violence.
It's
Like
humor and it's
it's
gay, and we
it's
really
very
can't
gay.
complain. I'm going to read the line that you read before
Yeah,
because it's
you get to
fucking
read it.
fantastic. Okay. Because I can do it with an accent. Breasts really are fantastic. I mean, just the best. Absolutely divine. I could live for 1,000 more years and never tire of them.
And then, like, under that, though, my next line I wrote down that I really loved was, "There's no elegant or easy way to cut off someone's head. It's a gruesomely tedious process. Layers of skin and tendon, to say nothing of the throat. Hardly a minor obstacle. And then the spine." And I'm just sitting here just giddy
Mm-hmm.
over the explanation of violence. And I'm just like,
Yes.
yeah, this
Well,
is me.
I think it helps because, and she references this in the book because at some point they talk about it. Because part of when you're killed, like they say that when you become a vampire, the beliefs you had at that point are solidified and frozen in
Yeah.
time. And so she, even though she is this 150 something year old being, she is perpetually 19 years old. And so therefore, every feeling she has feels like it'll be the only feeling she'll have for the rest of her life. And that I think allows us to have some of like that more humor when it comes to things because she's still,
Mhm.
that's how a 19-year-old would talk about
She's a
that.
teenager.
She's a
Like,
teenager. She's 150 years old, but she's a teenager.
and it just, and it gets interesting because it, I love when we get books like this and I'm just like, "Oh my god, I relate so much." It's kinda sad because we
Mm-hmm.
had that happen with,
Little
Little
Thieves.
Thieves. I related so heavily to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm reading this and I'm just like, she keeps saying things that are just
Mm-hmm.
a little too relatable,
Yeah,
which makes it really goes into the fact of, like, this is a book about the human experience. Like, yeah, it's a vampire book, but
it
it's a book
is.
about the human experience as well as other
Absolutely.
things. Like, there's so much folded into this because we've got MLMs and
Yes. Vampire cults and
patriarchy
MLMs.
and lesbians, and it's so much.
Well, one of my favorite, like, because again, the thing of, and I love the foreshadowing of the, like, the Iris mentions, like, Moonlight doesn't usually freeze when you look at it. And then she mentions
Mhm.
about how she can turn into Moonlight. Because we have the line of, I was always good at Moonlight, though, because Moonlight isn't real either. It's just a wan reflection of something else, something else's light. And I'm like, that is profoundly sad.
It is. And, like, I going back to the 19-year-old thing too, when she has the
Hmm.
line, "Sometimes I'll have a feeling, but won't know how to express it until I have captured it in a poem or lyrics, pulled straight out of my chest and put it into a form I can understand. If I can understand the feeling, then I can accept it and move on," showing that she still has that emotional immaturity
Hmm.
of not being able to go, "This is what I'm feeling." Because, like, at 19 and 31, 2 very different ages, I can
Yeah.
I don't need always the poems and the lyrics and things to express how I feel. But at 19, like, yeah, that's definitely what we were doing.
Yeah, we were all like, we're projecting our own feelings, or as we're trying to figure them out.
Mhm.
And that's like, why a lot of us, maybe more introverted people, to have a tendency to latch on to fictional characters because we're projecting our own feelings onto the experiences of others because we have no other way of processing them.
I have not attached myself whatsoever. I am fine.
No,
I
no, you
say with
sure?
massive amounts of books behind me.
I can quit anytime I want to. I
I
just
can
don't want to.
quit. See, can I quit? I have like 150 books behind me, and I think I've read maybe 10% of them.
But yeah, I get paid to project other people's emotions into a microphone, so honestly, it's fine.
I get paid to pour liquor.
And one could say those are the same things.
Honestly, they could. But back to the therapy thing too, I was like, it wasn't my mother
Yeah.
who didn't love it wasn't that my mother didn't love me. It was that her version of love was another form of violence. I literally had to
Mhm.
stop reading for a minute
You sent me
after
that.
I sent you that. And I'm just like, can this please, please, please stop being therapy for me? I should just get a therapist.
But, like, it's not odd, but I mean, it is therapeutic because, like, I think this is why so many people read fantasy and why so many people also why I think monster romance, in general, is such a popular genre,
Mhm.
beyond the fact that romance in general is the most popular genre because of
It
course it is.
is.
But, like,
Because we can't find, it's so
because
hard
I
to
think,
find good partners out there.
well, yeah. But I feel like especially with a lot of authors, it's, I mean, not easier, but it's for authors and for readers, it seems so much more obvious, I think, when you're working through these emotions through monstrous characters.
Because it lets us see what's truly inside.
Yeah.
That's the that to me is like the embodiment of monster stories,
Mhm.
is it's just bringing the inside out.
Mhm. And I love
Where
this line of I didn't want Dracula's love. I wanted love, period, any love, and he seemed most likely to offer it to me after what he'd done to keep me.
which is abusive and,
Yes.
like, it's putting a light on abuse and how you are to be the one abused
Mhm.
and the process you have to go through within. Because like, her healing process takes a really long time,
Yeah, it took about 150 years, 130 years, give or take.
but we're watching her go through all these meeting these people and experiencing life with them much longer than we tend to in, like, our normal, normal human lives. Like,
Yeah.
her spending decades with one person is maybe, like, a relationship for a few years for us, so it's just interesting seeing how long it takes when you don't have a
Yeah.
concept of time that you have to rely on anymore.
Exactly, because we see that throughout the client transcript stories, like, we jump decades while talking to people because it takes us from 1890, and then
Mhm.
she goes to China to try to find Dracula, and she ends up with the queen, and then the next time she emerges, it's World War One,
Yeah.
and then again, she spends time with well, that's when she meets the doctor. She ends World War One,
Which is
which I found
insane. That was a fun little.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
Well, and going into everything with war, which war is never stopped. It's going to continue. We've been dealing with this for centuries upon centuries. It's not going to end, and
Mhm.
that goes into the like
No.
human nature and like who we are as human beings. Are we a violent race? Like it goes into that kind of because
Mhm.
I wrote down the whole thing. I could not help it with the doctor. And is the war over? It wasn't. It never has been. It never will be. All wars are the same war. Evil is banal, evil is predictable, and evil is everywhere. The heroes of that particular chapter, the liberators of Europe and Africa, go backward or forward, you'll find the same blood on their hands, the same violence and atrocities in their own lands or in foreign lands under the banner of their flags, the same dark deals, the same sacrifices of young bodies in service of old money. And I just really want to hug Kiersten White
Mhm.
for that specifically. Because that statement is, of course, extremely prevalent now, but
Yep.
literally with talking about like the passage of time, that statement is true at any time in history
Mhm.
and will
Absolutely.
continue to be true.
I can't say she has a very unique insight. She has the correct insight into most
The
of
correct
society
one, yes.
because especially the difference between a lunatic and an eccentric is always money, is it not?
Yes! I have that written down too. And
The
also,
few lines that I have written down because again, I listened mostly to the audiobook. I'm finding the
and
important ones.
lying about the existence of monsters never saved anyone from falling victim to them.
Mhm. I love that one.
It's like she's in my brain. Like
There is no right, there is no wrong. There is only life and death and the things that tip us from one to the other. Like
see,
it's like
we're doing
this
too good
book
with this because
is
I have another one after that. Like, it's just so much.
this book it's like again, it's like for how not bizarre, but just for how well written this book is that it can balance this drama, these philosophical moments, these like really like deep like humanitarian moments, but also breasts are fantastic. It's the same
Right?
book.
You're assigning value and moral weight to different kinds of killing, different kinds of being a predator. There is no wrong. There is only life and death and the things that tip us from one to the other.
Hmm.
Like, how do you go from that to this?
Well, you go from that to "Are you my butter chicken?" Is that a pet name?
And then I always responded well to demanding women. Something in me was forever eager to please them. Like,
Same girl, same.
same. Because you have
Can
that, and
relate.
then these like narratives on war and
Hmm.
violence, and of course she's violent as well because vampires are monsters; they are
Yeah.
violent. So we've got discussions of like misogyny and war and violence, and but then we go into the queerness of it and like being liberated through sex and through like
Hmm.
your own emotions and learning yourself. And I'm just like this whole book, like this is what you can do with monsters.
You can. This might be actually my favorite line of the
Okay.
entire book. If you think vampires make no sense, explain to me how you can push buttons that don't exist on a glass and metal rectangle to talk to someone on the other side of the world. If that isn't supernatural nonsense, I don't know what is.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
But
Because there was a line earlier on that I made reference to, which because it reminded me a lot of something from True Blood. Something
ooh,
that like
okay.
is similar that comes up in a lot of vampire stories. I gotta find it because I did not write down any of my notes there. I'm
No,
literally
you're
flipping through
good.
the book. So this is towards the very beginning when she says, Vanessa, I can see in your expression that you want some rational explanation for all of this. Why does the sun bind us? How can I change into moonlight? How can I move and think and feel without being alive? But I ask you, why do you dream? And then she continues on. And that reminds me a lot of in True Blood, that basically Sookie asks Bill like how it is that he exists. And he just says magic. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, it's magic that animates all of us. Just because yours is understood by science and mine isn't doesn't make it any different. There's a much more like beautiful way of saying
Eloquent.
that.
Yeah.
Because he's said it much more eloquently. People have gotten it tattooed on their bodies. But it's that same kind of ideology of like, sometimes it doesn't matter why it works, just that you accept that it does.
Sorry, I struggle with True Blood. Like,
Nah, I know you do.
Book 1 was not it. Can we please stop making vampires Confederate soldiers?
Yeah,
That's all I ask.
Instead, we have spies.
I would much rather this than another fucking Confederate vampire. Because you would think you'd like maybe get it once. No.
I have one more section that just I actually wrote down an annotation for once in my life. Was towards the very end with the familiar when Kyle is trying to help them things. And
I love that.
Shut up, Kyle. I'm so excited to kill him. And then I wrote down, shut up, Ernest. The women are talking. We've got this shit under control.
I have that one too. I also wrote down, well, clearly my vampire isn't what I thought it was. Knew you were gay from the first encounter. Had no idea you were undead. If that is not the queer experience.
It really is.
Like specifically sapphic.
I also thought you would appreciate this one towards the very end. Her gaze is flat and emotionless. I'd say it's because she's dead, but she's always looked at me like I'm a spreadsheet.
Yes, I think I highlighted that one.
I'm like, but here's the thing is I look at my spreadsheets with nothing but fondness.
I know.
I love my spreadsheets. They're my children.
I loved this too. First things first, though, we start this girls' trip the proper way. Arson and then a visit to the therapist. Like, that is the girl trip we all need. Arson really and then a trip to our therapist.
Because this book it's such a range of, you've got the humor, you have all of this, and it all works perfectly well.
It all works so beautifully together because I think it shows that we are not just singular people. We are so much. Like, yes, we are podcasters. You're a narrator. We both write. I'm a mother. Like, we have so many folds to us. It's the onion. We have layers.
We are onions. We are like ogres.
We are onions. And so this book really does that. It gives us the layers because there is so much more than like, especially considering like when Lucy was first around, like when she was her beginning is during a very misogynistic patriarchy type. Not that we're not still in a patriarchy, but still it was harder, much harder for women. Her entire well-being depended on if she was going to marry, who she was going to marry, and things like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, she wasn't going to get her inheritance. There was no, like, it has to be a man in the mix, right?
Even though the will originally was leaving everything to her, it was never going to.
It was never going to. And so we go from that to her, like, watching her, continue through that as the world changed, but she didn't. She did change, but it took her a really long time. She was still very much Lucy, but it took her so long to find herself, just as it does for anybody. We're all like, if you're not constantly changing, there's a problem. You should not be the same person that you are all of the time. And so watching Lucy's journey through that, but also through time, where time has changed because we change as people, we change as a unit, we change as a group. We're changing now and I hate it, but here we are.
Yeah.
It was very eye-opening because it makes you think about a lot of different things. Like I told you before we started that I see Dracula in this book as not just this big monster. He's very much kind of like in the background. You don't even really hear from him till near the end of the book.
Well, and like I love the technique that she uses with this because the chapters that are from Dracula's perspective are in third person versus Lucy and Iris, which are both in first person. I think that's very important because so much of this talks about vampirism and identity and agency because with the exception of Mina, Lucy, and Dracula, none of the vampires have names.
No, it's the doctor, the lover, the queen.
Exactly. And like it's a case of, and even Raven and Dove aren't their names. That's just the names that she assigned them. So it's because vampirism, your name is your agency. Your name allows you to remember these things. Without that, you don't have your past. Yeah. So that's like we see that when she turns Iris towards the very end, she hoped that giving her name would speed things along, and it did. Or in her case, hearing her name Lucy allowed her to remember Mina, at the very least remember that.
Yeah. And we
So
all tend
it's,
to get a little obsessed with our first love. Like, I didn't
oh yeah.
question her love for Mina not once, especially coming from the times that she did. That wasn't
Hmm.
socially acceptable.
Yeah.
And so, but I see Dracula as like I told you before, the embodiment of kind of like the patriarchy, misogyny. He is that violent man chasing
Hmm.
you, the monster that is. You can't seem to get away no matter how hard you try. That's like,
Hmm.
I saw it that way because I've lived that life. I don't like to use the word victim, survivor. I've
Hmm. Oh
survived
yeah.
so
Yeah.
much
Survivor.
due to men.
Hmm.
And so seeing that embodied in this was really great. But then you add in the mother and not feeling loved and that whole dynamic and her father not
Hmm.
being there. I don't remember what happened to her father. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't he
He
like just
just died,
leave?
I think. He
He
just
just
died.
like he was gone. And then we go into multi-level marketing.
Yeah. I have one more thing to say about agency before we talk about the
That's
MLM.
fair. That's fair.
One more thing. Because I think, again, showing that agency, that lack thereof when it comes to the vampirism and everything is very, and
Mm-hmm.
especially with Lucy and Iris's dynamic of them always saying, ask me to kiss you, ask me to do this, ask me to
Yes.
save you.
Consent.
They're giving you that option. It's the consent. It's giving you that choice where you never had any before. Is I want to do this for you, but if you don't want it, I won't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
For both of
that's
them, it's a
important to
big
show the
deal.
growth of those characters.
Well, it's a big deal for them both to have that too and like to go through that because Lucy didn't choose to be a vampire. Lucy didn't choose. Well, I mean, she was trying to protect Mina, but like she didn't know
She
she
didn't
would
know what
turn
she was
in.
doing.
She didn't know what she's 19. So
Hmm.
she didn't really choose that. She didn't choose for all these men to be doting over her. She didn't choose for her mother to treat her the way that she did. None of these are things, it's
Hmm.
all things that other people are doing to her. And then you
Yes.
have the fuck.
Context.
Her
Context.
name.
I don't.
How did I forget her name?
Mina?
Mina. No, not Mina. My brain's not working.
Iris?
Iris. Jesus Christ. Sorry. And then you have Iris, who is under complete control under her mother. She has to do what she's
Hmm.
told. Like it to the point where they're like, "Oh, vampires? There's no vampires. We're gonna send you off because you think there's vampires." When in reality, it's gaslighting. So she's being
Hmm.
gaslit constantly. She just wants out from under the control of other people. They both
Hmm.
crave freedom from
Hmm.
others
Yep.
and others' treatment. Yeah, can this please stop being therapy? Pretty please.
But yeah, so they crave the freedom, and obviously, like Iris is, she's very correct that this MLM is a cult because,
Yes.
and I love that it's set in Salt Lake City.
Well, it should be
It
because
should be.
like and then like the like talking about like the fucking Mormon temples and shit. I
Hmm.
got to the MLM portion of this and I was having a wonderful fucking time because I have followed that shit a little bit too closely in my
Hmm.
life. But cults are interesting. And
Hmm.
before anybody comes for me, the Mormon church is not a religion. The Mormon church is a fucking cult.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's like, and they are the Mormon church for some odd reason. The Mormon people are like the leaders of most MLMs that do exist.
Yeah.
Almost all of them,
Hmm.
including also Crumble Cookies and different
Yep.
places
Yes,
like
they are.
that, and the
Hmm.
soda places. Um,
People don't realize, I think, because there are a lot of businesses, like big nationwide
oh
businesses that
yeah,
are run by actual cults, not even just Mormons.
oh yeah, like oh god, I mean, I love that
Yogi Tea.
Yogi Tea is, yeah, it is. I think Boeing had some weird shit too at some point,
Mm,
didn't they?
I think
We
so.
can't talk about Scientology. I don't feel like getting attacked.
No, that one actually scares me.
That one actually scares me. They're a little they creep me out. So
Yeah, so let's talk about this fictional one. We'll talk about Goldeming
we'll
life.
talk about Goldeming, yes, which
Yeah,
I really
because
love them taking something as dark as vampirism and turning it into something that they would of course twist to be this great light,
mm-hmm.
which they show by that one character, the one that does get turned and like leaves and everything, and all she
Oh,
ends
Del
up getting
Toro,
Del Toro. It's all she ends up being is
a security guard.
a security guard in an elevator.
Yeah.
You're gonna do great things. You're gonna do great things, and they're put in the most menial job possible, and they're just like,
Mm-hmm.
what is my purpose? So they're like, that's a cult for you. That's an
Mm-hmm.
MLM for you. You're just told over and over, all you put in all this hard work, you do all this hard work for us, and we're gonna, we're gonna give you everything you could ever dream of, and then you're left with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I they did great on that one.
We have strong feelings about MLMs.
Well, because they're predatory, and that
They are.
goes back into like the narrative about predators in this, that not all predators are the monsters that we are scared of in the night. Not all predators are
Yeah.
going to be, for most women, men.
Well, yeah, and that plays into one of the other questions we had from another patron,
Yeah.
from Sophie, was talking about asking us to talk about making Mina the villain of this retelling
Yeah.
because she says it makes sense in context and is interesting and well done, but she said I can't help but be disappointed at the same time since they're my favorite character from the original Dracula, which
Mhm.
I have no context for. But did
I
the
have a
story
little
really need
bit.
to? Yeah, did the story really need to put this character down to lift up Lucy? I'm gonna read what I wrote down and hopefully
Mhm.
what I wrote down makes sense. I like the idea of making Mina the villain and making Dracula more of a footnote in her story, who ends up not being as important as he thinks he is. Because, like you were saying, he is kind of the embodiment of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
He's the monster we expect, not the monster we actually encounter. And because
I
he's the idea of the monster. But the true monster, I said, is kind of what we let our core beliefs turn us into,
Mhm.
because Lucy spends her whole afterlife looking for a way to take down Dracula because of her love for Mina. Having her be at the center of the evil MLM cult to me was more interesting, and it kind of creates the idea that we are not what we are made to be, but who we let our circumstances turn us into. And having Mina be the villain makes a lot of sense. I did think that the denouement kind of moment we have of her explaining everything and how she just decided to capture Dracula and torment him is a little opportunistic and might be a little too power hungry for where she was at that point. But I mean, sometimes you don't need specific trauma to turn you into a monster. You just have to decide to become one.
That is yes. And as we've been talking about this, it's got my brain kind of moving because we're talking about how Lucy in misogyny of the time, how she had to
Hmm.
like try vampirism was almost an escape for her from that.
Hmm.
Yes, it's from a predatory sense, but it was still an escape for her. But then we
Hmm.
have to remember that she came from money and Mina didn't.
Yeah.
And so I don't fully see it as just like, oh, Mina's the villain.
Hmm.
Mina saw an opportunity as a woman under the patriarchy
And she took it.
and took her shot.
Hmm.
Yes, that became a corrupt situation over time, but I don't
Yeah.
believe, and yeah, it's fucked up. Like, I, Mina made the decision she did, but when you are of working class and you're watching and taking care of somebody who is
Hmm.
not, and you're just treated, she wasn't even treated poorly, just like knowing that you'll never have what other people have, it could make you do, you can go in different routes with that. Like,
Hmm.
growing up
Yeah.
poor and growing up like that, especially in that time period, you could end up going this route of like, I'm a good person, I can do this. But when you are wronged constantly by simply the system that is in place, yeah, I could see you going, I have this opportunity to take power. She sees this power, she sees this opportunity, and she took it. So while she is the villain,
Hmm.
is she the villain because of how like corrupt she actually went, or is she the villain by taking the opportunity that she saw in front of her to gain power in a time that was nearly impossible for women to do so?
I would say she's the villain for killing countless people for fun.
That's a good reason.
I would say
I don't
that's
fault
certainly,
her.
like,
I don't
there's
fault her for doing it is the problem,
in the
probably.
similar vein that, like, we don't fault Regina for what she did on Once Upon a
Yeah.
Time despite the countless lives she destroyed. Like, I mean, there's a good reason for her to be the villain in the story in certain aspects. So I will say the murder
Mhm. The murder
might
is yeah.
is a little bit there, but it is a little bit much. But I
The
know what you're saying,
corrupt and,
especially
like, the lying of, like, what Goldeming life is
yeah,
and duping a lot of people into bullshit because
and
at
turning
the
them
end
into
of the day,
vampires
it's
against their
interest
will.
that too, but I will say the products did work.
That's true. The products
Unlike
did well
most
because
MLMs, those products
that's
worked.
yeah, exactly. Like, well, because the blood is life. The blood
The blood is life.
was doing something. And yeah, so I'll say that I didn't personally see this as putting down Mina to lift up
No.
Lucy. I think just inherently making one female character the villain and one the hero doesn't inherently put that one down. I think it just shifts our perspective. And again, this is coming from I don't really know what Mina's role is in the original story.
Mina's role in the original story is she, of course, is engaged to Jonathan.
Yeah.
And, like, they do go to, like, the house on the coast and
Mhm.
all that happens and yeah, Dracula is there and he does
Mhm.
start, turns Lucy and everything else. But like Mina dips for a while because Jonathan finally writes to her that he's in a hospital in Budapest because
Okay.
he escaped Dracula in his castle. And
Okay.
so then it just all happened that everybody kind of like banded together. But then like the three men that are like doting on Lucy, they all
Mhm.
of course tried to kill her and did all that fun stuff. Um,
Yeah.
But then like she pairs up with them and the Doctor and Van Helsing, and she's the one that actually is like writing the book. She's putting all of the documents together. She's the one that is the reason that Dracula, like that book exists, so to speak, within the meta-ness of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's Mina. And so she's part of his downfall.
Okay.
So yeah, very different.
And I mean, but I'm saying being part of his downfall, I mean, that is still her role in this story as well.
It is.
Because she basically turns him into a prize pet.
She does. But it's very interesting because if you look at it through the lens also of me talking about how Dracula is the embodiment of toxic masculinity, she just defeated toxic masculinity, but made her own toxic, almost toxic femininity.
A little bit,
through it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so,
yeah, but because especially with like I'm not a vampire, I am an eternal goddess. Like, okay, honey.
Whatever helps you sleep. Well, you don't sleep. Never mind. No, I mean,
whatever,
you do.
Whatever helps you rest in your closet.
There you go. Like, of course, like the creepy closet that she just hangs out in. Like, what the fuck, man?
Right? Like, it's so much of this is, I think this is well done, especially because Lucy, I mean, in the original story, she is the first victim. That's mostly her role, is to be that first victim in the original story. And this one, she overcomes that role that is being a victim. And like, she spends the whole story of the client transcript section, like, counting her days. And what the therapist says when she's done is, you weren't looking for Mina, you weren't looking for Dracula, you were looking for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate using this term, but there's like really no there's just a lack of a better phrasing here, is she became the change she wanted to see in her own world because she touched and changed the lives of everybody. Like she said, the queen realized that she had to let her girls go because keeping them captive wasn't doing them any favors. She taught the lover to stop being a victim, and just because she's not helping people by letting the serial killer continue to kill her over and over and over again.
Yeah, he's still killing other people.
He's still killing other people, and unless you kill them, you're not stopping them. And then the doctor, who at first was seeing humans as test subjects, like she helped her find her humanity again. Like she helped these people in such profound ways.
All through empathy.
She didn't realize it for 100 years.
That's a long time to be like, not realize.
I mean, to be fair, she's a teenager.
Mentally 19.
If you were perpetually 19, it would also take you 100 years to realize that
you're not wrong.
Like that's just life.
There's just things that happen as you get older with age, with time on the world, that helps you realize that. But if you're perpetually stuck as 19 and you add in all the other elements of like, yeah, I can turn to moonlight and just kind of, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, you're going to turn into moonlight and fuck off. Like, that's just how that works. But I mean, good God. But then going back to this, all of this, everything comes back to love. Like she showed love to these people. She finds Iris and she falls in love with her and has to get over like the fact that this strong love, her first love that she had with Mina, was unrequited. It never mattered. It only mattered for her, because I did love the line, loving someone is being known. And she got to know these people, she got to know herself, and she got to know Iris. And like it truly is, loving someone is being known. You can't love someone if you don't truly know them. This is a vampire book.
It is a vampire book. It's like this is marketed. This is a horror novel, but at the same time,
like, it's a beautiful book.
I will probably read this once a year. Honestly,
this is most likely now added, and since you so gracefully, like grace, I can't talk today.
Graciously.
You were like, thank you. That word gifted me the audiobook. It's very easy for me to go, I'm going to listen to this today. Like, this may be a new fall read for me every season.
It's a good one.
It's a really good one. I mean, obviously, I need more from this author now.
Yeah, she's mostly written YA from
See, that's
my knowledge.
Fine. I read YA.
I think I don't know if any of our other.
So
books
is this her debut adult?
I don't know.
If it is, that is a banger to start off on.
Yeah, she's been writing for years though.
I know, but still, like the amount of skill and introspection and everything else you got to be able to do something like this.
She's a genius.
Absolute genius. And I need more. I just need to reread already, because it is truly so it's very rare for me. Like Little Thieves was like that. It's very rare for me to pick up a book and go, I need to read this again immediately. Because that was one of them. Little Thieves was, this one is, as I still haven't read fucking book 2. I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like,
we've been busy.
It is. I was so fucking busy, man.
I only just started counting the books that I narrate in my reading because I realized
as you should.
At this point, I should. Because I read them 3 times.
At any point, you should. You're reading them literally out loud.
Like at minimum, I read them 3 times. I read it once before I record, and then I listen to it again when it's done.
So yeah, I mean, maybe don't log all 3 because you are.
No, I only read it. I only log it once.
But I would definitely do that because I'm reading. My reading's picked back up though, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, fair.
Apart from things that I have to read for the podcast and things I am trying to actually read for fun, yeah, reading is a task right now. Yeah. This was another reason. Like, this is yet another book that got me out of a reading slump. Good. I was in the worst reading slump of my life. I think I didn't read a book for over a month. This changed that. So, and kickstarted. I read like 2 more books after this, and I'm working on an audiobook right now. So thank you so much. Yeah, I just need to start texting you and going, all right, just tell me what to read at this point to get me out of this fucking slump, because it keeps happening to me this year. I'll hit my goal this year. I will, because
yeah, me too.
That's who I am. I will sit down and go, no, you're going to fucking read right now. But yeah, no. Was that all our questions?
That was it. Yeah. That was all we had for questions.
Not that we didn't have a lot to say.
Yeah, right. The only thing that I wrote down was just like a couple of just a mention of where this comes from, because obviously, like, Dracula is a story from a long time ago. It was from the 1897 Bram Stoker novel, and like I looked, I was gonna list notable adaptations. There's like dozens, if not hundreds, of retellings of the story of Count Dracula.
Yeah, it's
so like literally the only one I wrote down was there have been multiple BBC adaptations in like the last 20 years, and then the NBC version that I mentioned before. With Dracula starring Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Katie McGrath as Lucy.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. I love him.
Yeah, he's Dracula. Katie McGrath plays Lucy in that one, and then I don't remember her character name, but Victoria Smurfit is in that one, and she's a vampire hunter. So I got that going for me.
Wait, did we get a gender swap Van Helsing? What?
No, I think Van Helsing's in that one normally.
So there's just like another one.
There's other characters. I don't know if they're in. I truly don't know if this is part of the original story, if this was a new one, but it's.
Van Helsing, I think, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but if I remember correctly, Van Helsing was like the vampire hunter. Now,
Van Helsing is in the show. It was like more of like a church. It was more like a religious cult. Yeah, I'm saying in the Dracula story, it was more of a religious cult that the vampire hunter aspect was part of. I wasn't complaining. It was Victoria Smurfit in a corset wielding daggers.
I'm okay with this.
And at one point, her and Katie McGrath kiss on screen. I really wasn't complaining.
Can you just send that my way, please?
I absolutely can.
Thank you.
It's a great scene.
It sounds like a great scene.
It's fantastic.
Apparently, I need more vampires, which is funny because like right before I read
more gay vampires.
I finally watched Sinners.
Oh
God. I'm looking. I gotta go get like I'm about to go buy like the special edition DVD of Sinners. It is one of the best vampire. It is probably the best vampire movie I've ever watched.
It's a fantastic movie.
Oh my God, I could go on forever, honestly. But if I do that, we'll be here forever because it is just that. Well, it goes into so much more in the history on that. Ryan Coogler knows what the fuck he's doing. Everything I have seen him make, I have been delightfully surprised. He's a phenomenal filmmaker. He's probably one of the best filmmakers of our time. Did you notice the dimensions change throughout the movie?
I did. I think you pointed that out to me in something, and I've never been able to unsee it.
Hunger Games. So in Catching Fire, when she goes up, I have been paying so more ever since we started the podcast. And like that's one thing with like the TV, just watching TV. Ever since we started the podcast, I was already a movie person, anyways.
Yeah.
But the amount of attention I now put into movies is insane. I can't help it. I'm paying attention to the cinematography. I'm paying attention to the music. I'm paying attention to every tiny little bit and thinking, how did they do this? Like I am too much. I have made the joke now to my husband. I'm like, you've married a film bro. I'm sorry.
Like, you're welcome.
I can't stop. And it's not going to stop.
Nor should it, honestly.
Because the entire time we're watching Sinners, I'm of course commentating like, oh my God, this is this. Oh my God, this is that. Like just talking about so many aspects of it. And he's just like, how do you get this out of that? And I'm like, how do you not?
How do you not is really my question.
How do you not see the symbolism here? How do you not see the history? How do you not see? Because the symbolism of using an Irishman is so good.
Yep.
In this situation. Okay, I'll stop because I will talk about this forever.
You're good.
I'll be
we
good.
will. Do you have any final thoughts about Lucy?
I don't. Let's see. I think I said all my lines that I wrote down. Oh, I forgot I wrote that one. Whenever she's talking about all the men doting over her before she started. This is before vampirism. She's like, perhaps they will kill each other. Then I can prettily mourn them and be free. I do quite like the drama of black lace. I would look lovely, pretending to cry over their graves as my darling held me close. Can you get more queer than going, if only the men were gone?
Basically.
Like, honestly.
If only there were no men and we could just run off together and it would be fine.
How many times have you thought that to yourself?
Constantly.
Recently?
Do I need further explanation?
No, I already know. It's already in my brain. I already know why. Because I know all.
You do. You know everything, dear.
I didn't choose this life, okay? The life chose me.
That's
I don't make decisions. The universe does.
Sure, let's go with that.
Like you've said repeatedly, you can't expect a bisexual polyamorous to make a decision.
No, not at all. I promise I'm paying attention. I was trying to find the clip of Katie McGrath and Victoria Smurfit kissing on YouTube because I knew it would exist and I found it.
I mean, I know it exists.
Oh, I know it exists. I was like, I knew the YouTube clip existed. So when we're done recording, I'll show it to you.
I love that our friendship is, I want to show you these two women kissing. And I'm like, please do.
Yeah. That's just, I mean, yes.
That's most of our friendship.
I'm not going to torment you by not showing this to you. I'm not that evil, darling. I just sound that way. And it is Victoria Smurfit with the British accent again.
Oh, okay.
Well, it makes sense. There's not a whole reason for her to have the Irish accent.
That's very true. Do we rate we rate
We did not. We do. I mean, we do rating. So, Katie, what out of 5? What did you rate Lucy?
Oh, it's
Undying?
a 5 out of 5. Yeah, okay.
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
If it wasn't, I mean, what would I even critique in this? It's got sexy vampires that are violent and are taking down an MLM. Yeah. Like, that's essentially the book.
Basically, yeah.
And ending World War I.
Yeah, the fact that she ended World War I and continued to help efforts in World War II, I'm like, okay then. I like it. The first time I read that, I was like, that I thought it was a little interesting. But now I'm just like, no, that makes sense.
Honestly.
Because honestly, who's going to get them all to sign the treaty if not a 19-year-old girl?
A violent one.
A violent one. I also gave this a 5 if that's not evident. It was a 5 when I read it last year. It's a 5 now. I wouldn't have read 60% of it yesterday if I didn't love this book.
It's easy to read something that you really love.
Yeah. And it's like, I say this a lot of books, but like, especially I think with the audiobook as well, and with the changing of the formats and the short chapters, it's so compulsively readable.
Oh yeah, because I can't stand a long chapter.
Yeah, like once chapters get like, I hate books that are like 400 pages and 12 chapters.
Yeah, as I'm slowly reading through Lord of the Flies again, because
like I need breaks. I need a good place to stop because I don't like stopping in the middle of chapters if I don't have to.
Because I'm reading a lot of my old books, especially like ones you like read when you were a kid.
Yeah,
I'm reading through them because I am a homeschool mom.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably brush up on some of this to be able to teach it.
Yeah.
So, I had never actually read Lord of the Flies before, so I'm working on that one. It's
okay.
Why do we do this to children?
I don't know.
I did reread Fahrenheit 451 though, and that book still stands. It's still good. Yeah, that one still stands. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Which, ironically, the movie, I haven't watched it yet, is also Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to watch it soon. I need to after reading the book. I want to see, because it's the only adaptation I think I've ever heard of. If there's an older one, I'm not interested because
yeah,
I want to see it more through a modern lens because it has so much technology within it that I was like, mm-hmm. I don't want to watch an old iteration of this. I want to see a newer one with the actual technology.
Absolutely. And you can't really top Michael B. Jordan.
You cannot top. I mean, I could. You couldn't. Thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed the book club episode, and we hope you'll join us next quarter when we read Peter Darling by Austen Chant. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.